Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so glad that I have my friend Clara here to speak to us today because she specializes in productivity and saving time and making time work for you when you're super busy as a mom, as a working mom, how to balance your day so you're still getting everything done. And boy, do I need help with that. So thank God you're here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Time is the one thing as a coach, whenever I talk with people and I say, what is the number one thing you want me to help you with? I hear all the time, if you could just give me 2 hours more in a day. And I'm like, yeah, I actually can.
Magic.
Yeah. So that's what I say is I give people the gift of time.
That's amazing that you
Yeah.
can create, because we all think of time, it's so limited and we just have that 24 hours and how are we going to squeeze it all in? So
Mhm.
I think like maybe it's not quite as hard a limit as I think it is.
Yeah. Well, it all starts with our mindset. As most of the things out there, our mindset really is the key to how we approach everything. And what I had to learn, because everything that I share with my clients and with friends like you are the idea that it's about investing our time. If I were to sit here and give you $1,000 and say, go invest this money in your business, you would look for the right places to invest that to get the return back. It's the same thing with time. Where are we investing our minutes? And are we going to get that return back? And when you start to shift how you look at time, not as how you spend time, but how you invest it, you start to look at it at a different level and at a really different way. And you start to redefine your relationship with
Interesting. Investing
it.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Because again, that's what it is every day we show up, whether we're working for 2 hours today or 10 hours today, how are you investing that? And, the problem that I find so many times is we leave our investment on the table because we do things such as multitasking, or, we do things in a way that it's not to the highest and best use because we are showing up with other people's goals in mind and putting our goals second. We're allowing ourselves to get distracted. So the truth is, again, it's not in how we spend our time, and it's really changing the way that we're showing up and just a few little tweaks that we can do each day. And I know this from personal experience because this is what I learned for myself. When I made a few just minor tweaks in my day, I really got back about 2 to 3 hours a day, because studies will even show us that we lose about 2 to 3 hours a day in distractions. So it's all in how are we going to start to face those and manage those, because they're not going to go away.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think makes me avoid productivity seminars and stuff is like they're going to tell me I can't watch Netflix each evening with my husband,
Yeah,
I want some of that
absolutely.
downtime.
And I call, excuse my language, I call bullshit on that, because and that's really, my whole message is finding success on your terms, because everybody out there, and I work primarily with women in business, we all have different demands in our lives. We all have different ways that we like to spend our downtime to recharge ourselves, and we need to be able to keep that going. And the idea is, again, when you are at work, work, and when you are not at work, do invest your time in the things that bring you joy, even if that's binge watching Netflix. And it's still okay to do that. But what we need to do is we need to start looking at, are we on the clock? And when we're on the clock, how are we going to be productive? Because being productive is very different than being busy. And too many of us out there are extremely busy. But this is why we get to the end of the day and we're like, I didn't get anything done. It's not that we were just sitting at our chairs doing nothing all day. We were really busy, but we weren't productive because we weren't investing our times in the right areas and using that time for its highest and best use. And that's really what I help women do.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's two pieces there. There's
Mhm.
um the idea of multitasking that is so tempting. I think 20 years ago we were all like, this is the answer to life, multitasking. And now it's
Yep,
like all this research that we waste a lot of energy switching between tasks very quickly instead of focusing
absolutely.
on one thing. but how do we choose what to prioritize, and how do we
Mhm.
choose which things we should be spending and investing?
Yeah. It's
Speaking my
a
language,
really great
investing
question,
the time in.
and I'm glad that you asked that, and the first thing that we have to do is we have to get clear on our vision. Why are we doing what we are doing? Because how we choose to invest our time has got to come back into alignment with, does this help me achieve my overall goal? So I always tell people, before you choose to do something, ask yourself a couple of really strong questions. So when a new opportunity comes up or when you sit down for the day, asking yourself, am I set up to do the work that is going to connect me with my vision? Is this something that's going to move me closer to my ultimate goals or move me away from my goals? And then the second question is, if I choose to do this new thing, what is it I then have to say no to? Because the truth is when you say yes to something, you also have to say no to something else. So if you just take a moment and kind of put those checks and balances in. So for me, as a speaker, as a trainer, and as a coach, there are many times where opportunities come my way. And at first, I look at the paycheck and I'm like, "Oh, that's good money. I want to go and do that." But I always stop for a moment and I ask these questions, because sometimes the opportunity is not with my target audience. It's not with the
Mm.
people who really are the ones that I want to work with and I feel my message is going to connect with. So for me to jump on a plane and take time away from my family, take time away from the other projects and clients that I have, it may not be the best fit for me. So you've really got to look at those things, because when you are at work, again, doing the work that brings you joy, doing the work that really matters and is going to help you make sure that it's all part of the bigger picture of, is this going to, again, help me achieve the goals that I want to achieve?
Yeah. It sounds like it probably takes some practice to.
It does take some practice and it takes some time, and this is something that when I work with my women, I have an entire workshop that I take them through, and we spend, a good 2 to 3 hours together really dialing in on these items. What is it that is driving them? What is the bigger picture of what they are working for, so that we can start to get clear on who their target audience is, so that they can, again, work with the right people that are going to be part of that vision, but then also getting clear on what are the few things that they really must do, because it's not a matter of, can we do this? We can do anything we want. It's more a matter of, should we be doing this? So helping them get clear on the things that they must do, some of the things that they really should be delegating out, so that they can, again, put all these pieces together and create a schedule, again, that's going to work for them. So another big piece is also understanding, how do you work? Are you
Mm.
someone who has more focus in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? What are the dynamics that maybe you have with your family? So again, you can look and see. I know for me, my son is now 17, so he's a little bit on his own. But when he was younger, I picked him up at school, so I knew from 2:30 till about 6, I was going to be mom. So I needed to set my day up so I could have more focus in the morning and then maybe come back in the evening. So we would do our homework together. And when he was sitting down doing his math or his language arts, I was working on some of my projects as well. So we could still be together, but we were still being productive together. So again, you've just got to look at these trade-offs, because I don't believe in sacrifice. Sacrifice is a negative thing and it makes you feel like you have to, give up the good things, the things that sometimes bring you joy, like Netflix. You don't have to sacrifice. There are trade-offs, but the idea is, I don't even believe in balance. It's, how do you find the harmony between these? So
Mm.
again, looking at these and starting to figure out how you can bring it all together and find the harmony between work life and personal life.
That's beautiful. I like
Yeah.
that. And it sounds like when people work with you, they kind of come away with like a measuring stick that they can
Exactly.
hold up and use to figure out, is
Yeah.
this new thing something, or this new idea? Like, I was in the shower and I had this brilliant idea. Like, here's the measurement to say, okay, is this something that I should be pursuing right now?
Mhm.
Or should that go on the back burner for another
Right.
time?
Yeah. It's all those checks and balances. The other thing that I do is I really give them permission to change and to be flexible, because every day could be different. And if we create this program, and if we have to do it this way, well, what's going to happen when life hits us upside the head? So what I often do is, first and foremost, is I help them come up with sort of a yearly success plan. But then we chunk it down into 90-day segments, because it's important that every 90 days we adjust it, we adapt it, we pivot if we need to. But
Mm,
then every week, when you set up your week, because I teach them how to start thinking like a CEO as well. When you set up your week, you look at your week. How am I going to set my week up so that I can achieve these 90-day goals? What are the things that I'm going to do that matter in helping me achieve this goal? But then also, again, giving yourself permission. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling tired, if your family needs you, it's okay to adjust and pivot.
mm.
One of the things, I was talking with one of my clients last week, and she was so stressed out because it's summertime now, her kids are home, and she was looking at the 5 or 6 things that she really wanted to focus on, and she wasn't able to get them all done, and so she was beating herself up. And I said, listen, stop trying to do it all. Out of all of these things, what is the one thing that you can commit to? And I said, do that at the highest level possible, and then get as many of the other things done. And sometimes it's, again, giving ourselves permission to do less, because even if we can do less, but we can do it at the best, highest level possible, it's going to be better than trying to do a bunch of things very mediocre.
That's a great point. Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't think I really
Yeah.
think about it that
Yeah.
way at all.
But again, so that those are some of the things that I think, because I am a woman, I am a working mom, I think I understand that one size doesn't fit all. And so I don't try to put the women that I work with in a box and try to say, these are the things you must do and you cannot deviate it. And those are some of the things that I learned from other classes and courses that I went to. And the theory is fantastic. The theory works, but that doesn't mean that it always works practical application. So
Yeah, I
I
love looking
really
at a nice
try to
filled
make
out
it
planner, but
real. Yeah, and so I'm very real with my women. We have very open conversations. If it's not working, I don't put it on them and say, "Well, you should be able to make this work." We look at why. Why is it not working? Is it because they need to have better boundaries? And if so, let's work on those boundaries, and let's dialogue about how you're going to communicate those boundaries so I can teach them some of the skill sets. Is it not working because maybe they don't understand the value of it? Or maybe they don't understand how to approach it the right way. Or maybe they just don't want to do it. And you know what? If we don't want to do it, let it go and replace it with something you want to do. So I
Mm.
really work very individually and very one on one, and sort of let them. And that's why I don't even call it a business plan. I call it a success plan, because that's what we want. Is we want success in business, but we also want success in life.
Yeah, and success by our own definition, not some outside definition to decide what
Exactly.
success
We
looks
don't
like.
need anyone telling us what to do. We all know what we need to do. We need someone helping us create the platform in which it's going to work for us.
I definitely had somebody telling me recently that there's so much you don't see behind the scenes of
Mhm.
people who are successful,
Yeah.
and it's so easy for us to get kind of jealous, like, oh man, they've got it really figured out.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Because
somebody
we're
was
always
saying to me,
watching
like,
somebody
I've
else's highlight
seen,
reel. Yeah.
their personal life suffering. I've seen behind the scenes of their relationships falling apart. Like, you don't
Mhm.
know the sacrifice that they've made to get there. And so
Exactly.
I definitely like your approach of that harmony and not sacrificing, but making
Mhm.
strategic decisions to get
Yeah.
yourself where you want to be.
And again, and I knew it. I had a huge breakdown when my son was about 3.5. And that is how I came up with my approach. I call it the clarity method, because, I had to realize it wasn't working. And I had to, because that's the thing, is many times we think it's working until we're very honest with ourselves. So I had to come up with an approach that was not going to be somebody else's approach. It was going to work for me. And I had to let go of everybody else saying, oh, well, you should do it this way or you should do it that way. Because at the end of the day, again, just because it works for someone else doesn't mean it's going to be in alignment with you. And that's the most important thing, because if it works for you, you're going to be more inclined to show up and keep doing it. But that's why, again, the 90 days is so important, because I don't want to wait until the end of the year to say, oh, well, that didn't work. If it's not working, and also there's different seasons
Yeah, I was gonna say
around
changing
the
the season,
holiday.
like the school break for summer. I've got my kids screaming in the background here 'cause
Mhm.
thankfully my
Yeah.
husband is home too to watch them, but
It has to be
yeah,
adaptable. It
yeah.
has to be adaptable. Yeah. So, mhm. But it's great. And, and so many times I love, and one of the things I'm very proud of is, again, I've been working with women in business for, 20 years now and helping them bring these concepts together. And I'm very proud to say that many of the women that I've worked with have seen an increase in their business profitability wise of over 80%. That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's awesome. But I'll tell you what I love more is when they tell me that they went on vacation and they were really able to go on vacation because
Oh.
they learned how to set their system up and delegate. How they were able to even just go and watch their kid play at a soccer game and be present at the soccer game. How they started doing date nights with their significant others. I actually had a woman and I had met her the year before. And when I had first met her, she and her husband were on the verge of divorce. They actually had filed and were
Mhm.
legally separated. We went through some things, we worked together, gave her some tips and some strategies. I saw her in person the next year, and she had told me that because of the systems she had realized she was out of harmony. And again, she felt it had to be all or nothing, and she didn't feel she was, again, communicating her vision properly. And because of a lot of the things that I showed her and was able to give her permission to do, she and her husband reconciled and they were able to get back together. And now it's been 3 years and they're stronger than ever. And I mean, those are the things that really matter. And, the fact that I can help people change lives and help them show up and be more present with their families, with their friends, because making more money, yeah, I can help you make more money. And don't get me wrong, that's awesome. But it's really about living your life. And that's what I love.
Yeah, I think that's what I want the money for, is to have the
Mhm.
freedom
To
to
do those things.
not
Yeah,
be stressed about it all the time and to be able to enjoy my time with my family.
exactly.
So that's like
And
the
so, I
whole
mean, that's
kicker.
what I want to do is I really want to help those women who are ready to get off the hamster wheel, who are ready to say, love what you do. I don't want women to give up their jobs. I don't want them to think, oh, I have to, get a divorce or break up because they don't understand. I want them to understand that there is a better way. And that if they just are able to stop for a moment and let me look inside their world, we probably can manufacture a better way for them to show up. So I really just want to work with women in business who are out there who love what they do, are super passionate about their careers, but are also passionate about their life. And again, just want to find a way to enjoy both of them. And yes, I will help them make more money, but I'm also going to help them learn how to leverage and manufacture time so that they can show up better, not just for their families, but also for themselves. And that's the other
Mm.
thing that I teach them is how to define what does self-care mean for them and how to make sure that we're fitting that into our world as well.
Oh, yeah, that's so important. And I always
Yes.
hear that phrase self-care, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do it.
Yep.
Take a bath. I don't know. That
And
doesn't make me
again,
feel
it's the
better.
same thing. It's different for everyone. For some people, it could be going to the gym, doing yoga, meditating. For other people, it could be gardening. Again, we have to define what does that mean for you and how are we going to set our schedule up? Because if you are not full, it's really hard to show up in the other ways. And it will work for a short time, but it's not going to create sustainability. And that's what
I'm
I want is
definitely
because
at
so many
that
of the
point.
women that I work with are, I will say, more independent contractors or small business owners like yourself. And it's the up and the down. And it's like, if they can learn these systems, they're going to find that they're going to be able to have more sustainability. And again, just be able to show up and be more present each and every day to work with more purpose and also be able to turn it off because the number one reason we can't step away from our business is because we don't have a system. We don't have people behind the scenes helping us. So that's why when we go on vacation, we have to take our phones and our laptops. And I know I did that too, but I don't do it anymore. And
And
my
that
business
is
does
it's a
not
path
fall.
to burnout. You can't keep doing
Mhm.
that forever.
And I will, and with all honesty, when I started to implement this for me, that's when I saw the dramatic change. My income went up probably 3 times or more, but I had more free time. I started taking vacations. I took care of my health. So my health, every aspect of my life improved because I was able to know how to make the puzzle work again for me
Work less and make more. I mean, we all want that.
and live
Even though we
more.
love our work, we still
Yeah.
we still
Mhm.
want that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, what is the next step for somebody that's interested in learning how to work with you? What kind of things do you have available?
Well, what I would have them do is I would really encourage them to reach out and just set up a one-on-one call with me. What we really want to do is just talk and sort of see what your points of pain are, what your stumbling blocks are, and let me just kind of give you some tips. Even in just 30 to 45 minutes, I can kind of assess and just give you some tips to point you in the right direction. And then if they feel there's a good fit, I definitely would love to share my program. I have turned my program into very one-on-one, but it's a year-long program. So the first thing that we do is, again, really go deep and create that success plan. But then we also come back and we review it every 90 days so that we take it, we chunk it down into something that's more manageable. And again, it's all very self-directed so that they can make it work on their time, but still have the access. And then, if they wanted to up level, they can even add in the one-on-one mentorship with me.
Hmm.
But it all just starts with a
Really,
call. Just give me
I
a
do
call.
love that
Let's
idea
talk about it.
of I love the idea of measuring each day against, is this gonna get me closer to that 90-day
Mhm.
goal, not a year goal, which
Yeah.
is so big and
And
far.
sometimes having that other person to talk it out with, to just say,
Mm,
and I do this all the time. I have sort of my circle. And if opportunities come up and I'm just not sure, I go to them and I say, hey, what do you think? And they walk me through it. Well, let's see. And so sometimes, again, you just need that outside perspective to just help you, walk through and make the better decisions for yourself.
yeah.
So,
All right, well, I'm gonna put your calendar link in the description
oh,
and in
thank
the
you so much.
comments so that it'll be simpler for people to reach out,
I would
and
love
I
that.
hope everybody takes advantage of that.
I honestly, and again, I'm not saying this from a place of cockiness or anything. I'm good. I know what I'm doing because I've lived it and I have helped so many women. And this is my passion, is to really make sure, because your life matters. You matter. And too many of us are going through life feeling like a zombie, getting through the end of the day and being like, how did I get here? And the truth is, time goes by very fast. And
Yes.
it's not about not working. I work really hard when I am working, but I live. And this is the gift that I want to give so many women. So I really hope they take advantage of me as a resource, because I truly can help them.
Yeah, and as they say, the proof is in the pudding. You've
It
got
is.
lots of women who you've helped, so you get to really know that it
Mhm.
works.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, and I appreciate you letting me come on and share this with other women, and hopefully maybe get them thinking about some things in a different way.
Yeah, I hope we can change some lives together.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.